Yeah, I mean, I think it's something that we've all expected to happen. And I think for John Souttar, it's more a matter of when and not if, in terms of him completing a move to Rangers during this window. For Connor Goldson, we all know his contractual situation. I think it's fairly safe to say now, Rob, that he's not going to stay at Rangers. They've been unable to agree a contract. Talks have been going on probably since last summer, going right back to Stephen Gerrard's time. So that's not been agreed. And as we've said in the programme a few times, there's a decision there to be made for Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. Does he cash in? Does he think he can go light for light, bring in Souttar and let Connor Goldson go? Does he want Souttar and keep Connor Goldson? Is Connor Goldson in the right frame of mind if he's going to sign a pre-contract to stay with Rangers till May, or would he rather get away and start his new career just as John Souttar wants to do? He wants to get to Ibrox. So those are all kind of questions that will be, as you say, will be answered in the next 7 days.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see if John Souttar lines up for Hearts against Celtic Wednesday night, Barry, because Rangers might quite fancy John Souttar hanging about at Hearts to feature in that game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Obviously, he wasn't in the Hearts team. They says it was through an ankle injury. But I think it's just a matter of time. I think by the end of play this week, I think John Souttar will be a Rangers player. They've already had one bid thrown out, so I'm sure Rangers are keen to get him in. Because for me, as I said, it's important that you get players in, get them used to the surroundings, get them used to the demands and the expectations. So I would be very surprised if John Souttar isn't a Rangers player before the window shuts.
And from what we believe, Mark, I think the offer so far is 300,000. I think Rangers have offered 300,000 for John Souttar, and Hearts are looking for double that, round about 600,000, because obviously his contract's up in the summer, but they want a decent fee to compensate them for the loss of one of their best players for the next 5 months.
Yeah, I mean, Rob, I have to be honest, I've no idea what fee Hearts have offered. I don't know what Rangers have offered, what Hearts are looking for. Speculation, I don't like speculating unless
you're on this show.
Unless I've got a decent bit of knowledge, and I don't. So if it's 300 to 600, yeah, somewhere in between would sound about right. I think if you're the manager, if you're Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, you want to get the player in the door as quickly as possible and start working with him, because there's a title up for grabs. There's European football, there's the Scottish Cup is now underway. If you're Hearts and Robbie Neilson, you probably think, I'd love to keep John Souttar, but his head's been turned. He's signed a pre-contract. Let's get as much in the door for him as possible. For Robbie's sake, he's probably thinking the sooner the better, and if I'm going to get a chunk of that, I can go and try and look to spend it in this window if possible, rather than the deal going through a week today and he's only got a couple of hours to try and do something. And in the case of Wednesday night at Tynecastle, Robbie Neilson will pick a team to suit Hearts. He's not picking a team with anything else in mind. He's picking a team what is best for his football club, to give his team the best chance of getting 3 points from Celtic. Whether that team includes John Souttar or not, Robbie will decide what's best for Hearts, not for anybody else.
The two clubs, Barry, who are being spoken about in connection with Connor Goldson are Nottingham Forest and West Brom in the English Championship. Are you surprised at all that that's the level of club that's looking at him?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Rob. I was surprised when I seen it was Nottingham Forest and West Brom. Obviously, two Championship clubs. Look, big clubs, but they don't compare to Rangers, if I'm being honest with you. But look, you know the finances, even in the Championship, Rob. He could probably go and double his salary down in the Championship. But listen, it'll be interesting to see what Connor Goldson does. I would have if he's going to stay, I would have expected him to sign an extension by now. So it looks to me if he could be on the way. But he's a player that I really like, and I'm sure Giovanni Van Bronckhorst is trying his best to try and keep him at the club. I know they've agreed the contract with John Souttar, but I don't think that's anything to do with Connor Goldson. I know they're desperate to keep him. But listen, I'll come down to Connor Goldson. This will probably be his last big contract, the age he's at.
Yeah.
So he's got to look after himself. But I'm sure Rangers will be desperate to keep him.
Tell Alexa to launch Go Radio or listen on the Go Radio app.